Yeah, I met with Dr. Goose late last week, and he told me the findings of the report, just like those that we just talked about. We have to, we got to continue to improve our internal operations, our game day experience, on and off the field, and also another key point is our interaction with our fans and alumni, we look forward to continue to improve in those areas, and just ready to aggressively move forward and get better.
Highlighted the areas that need to get better. What are you going to change starting next year, starting immediately to get better?
What are we going to change?
Any areas that you're going to actually change? What are you going to change?
Yeah, well, a couple of things we've done as far as winning goes. We made the biggest change in December when we hired Gus, and we're certainly excited about that. That's a big change. It's one of our top goals is winning, and and it's, as he said, it's a new day, and to have 83,000 people show up at A-Day, that's pretty big. From the game day experience, we partnered with the Disney Institute, and that's been great for our internal people and our third-party vendors that we contract with to provide a better game day experience. So those are a couple of things, along with the tailgating that we mentioned. We're looking at our internal operations. Do we have everybody situated properly? Just continue to evaluate what we do every day and make sure that our athletics department is a cutting-edge athletics department. We've got the best athletics department in the nation.
Jay, Dr. Goode said there was room for substantial improvement. These aren't just routine improvements. Doesn't sound like in the language, at least, that he used. Was there any one area outside of winning that needed to be addressed the most?
James, those that I mentioned today are the areas, the game day, game weekend, on and off the field, our communication, and our working with our donors and our fans and alumni, how we treat them, and internal operations, making sure that we're most effective and efficient organization in the nation, the athletics department.
And you're working with JMI Sports in some capacity?
We are. We started working with them back in December, and they're doing a review of a lot of different things in our athletics department. And one of them is how we operate and are we efficient and effective. It's always great, just like this committee that came in, it's always great to have a fresh eyes approach, because sometimes, maybe as you do in your job too, you get into doing things and you realize that this is the way we've always done it, which is that's not the best way to be successful. So you bring in a group and you look and say, hey, you thought about doing it this way, and that's what JMI is providing for us, and they've been working with us.
Can you tell what they are, JMI?
It's called it's a company. Philip, John Moore, I believe he used to, or maybe still does, own the Padres, and they have a group of people, and they've been involved in athletics in a lot of different ways, but we're one of the first institutions, or if not the first institution, where they've actually come in and they're looking at all operations. Sometimes they'll come in and just look at your ticket operations. Sometimes they'll come in and just look at your strategic plan for your facilities. Sometimes they'll come in and just look at your organizational chart. We've asked them to come in and look at everything that we do, and they've got a great team of people with different backgrounds and professions and capabilities, and so it's been great working with them, and we'll continue working with them throughout the rest of the year.
Is that ongoing right now?
It's ongoing right now, yeah. We started way back in December.
And does it go through the whole year, you say?
Goes through the whole year, yeah.
Master plan for baseball, you talked about having a look ahead at football. When the time comes, what are some of the things you want to address at Jordan-Hare Stadium?
Well, what we did, Jason, was, and I think you all know this, but for those of you that don't, I lose a little bit of track. A couple of years ago, we went out and we looked at a lot of different stadiums, and we went with an architecture firm, and we built a master plan for our stadium. If time doesn't matter and money doesn't matter, this is what we could do, and we could fill it up every Saturday. This is what we could do for our stadium, and so it's all encompassing, Jason. The premium seating is an area that people are moving more toward, because you can build fewer seats and generate more revenue, and amenities which improve the game day experience, as opposed to building an upper deck with 10,000 general admission seats or whatever it may be. Certainly have to continue to look at our locker room and our facilities, those type of things. What else can we do around the stadium to enhance the game day and game weekend experience? Those are the things.
Jay, Matt
Yeah,
Crawford
Jay.
came out in his statement and said that overall, the department, the review committee feels it's in good shape. And you've gone over previously and today all the positives and the other areas outside of winning. But for a fan who sees that over the last 2 years, you guys ranked 104 out of 125 in the major three-team sports, and the losing that has taken place,
Yeah.
it's hard for somebody to square those two things and say you're in good shape when you've been losing on these levels. Do you agree that outside of, I mean, we know certain things are in good shape financially and other things, but the winning is what the fans care about the most, and you know that. So do you feel that that's in good shape at this point?
You know, when we talk about winning, as I said in there, James, that's the first goal we mentioned, and we know how important winning is. And you know, a 3-9 football season is unacceptable, so we made a change. So, from a football perspective, I feel great about where we're headed with Gus. You know, he said it's a new day, and I believe it's a new day. And he's demonstrated that he's a fierce competitor, and gosh, he's a tireless worker, and he's a great ambassador for Auburn. I don't know of any head coach that's been to more events outside of football than he has in the last 4 months. And also, the staff he's put together, it's incredible. Not only great coaches, but great recruiters. So from a football perspective, 3-9 is not good. And it's unacceptable here at all. That's why I made a change. And, the decision I made with Tony, I just explained, but I'm happy to say it again, is that, 3 years at Auburn, we have a lot of history to overcome. And, Sonny Smith took 7 years to get to the NCAA, and Cliff took 5. But I made the decision, and that's a call that AD's made. And now he's got to produce. We got to look for results, and we'll see how that is. So I'm very excited about women's basketball. Coach Flo, she's exciting, and I love what she's doing from a recruiting standpoint. Had to make a change in softball with Tina Dees. She started the program here. It's a tough thing, but winning's important, as you mentioned, James. And I think we can do better in softball. So I think that moving forward, that we're taking the steps to make us better, and particularly with that goal that you're mentioning, winning.
Jay, you talked about basketball, but I'm sorry. If you were, it has to be a little bit disturbing to see players jumping ship every year.
I believe last year, John, in men's basketball, I believe there were about 450 basketball players that transferred. It's a national trend. And, the APR came into play in large part because of men's basketball and baseball. And I think it has really helped baseball in settling that down, all the transfers, back and forth. And, from the NCAA level, we got to continue to look at men's basketball, what it is we can do to try to help these guys get an education at one place and stay and compete. So it's challenging.
Jay, on that issue, it may be a national trend, but and you mentioned APR. You guys last year, I know the new score will come out, but last year you were at 925. That won't qualify going forward, and you have over 3 years under Tony, 9 of 14 kids leave. Transfers are a trend, but 9 of 14 over 3 years is not a trend. That's extremely high.
Is it?
Yeah, that's extraordinarily high. That's acceptable in this short term, even with an APR as borderline as it is right now for qualification purposes.
Well, I think what you're going to see in the next couple of months is the NCAA release our APR, and I think we're all going to be pretty comfortable where we are. And you do understand, James, that if a student athlete has a certain grade point average, which is 2.6, they don't count against the APR.
How much you felt it, and then also how much? I knew you had a friendly audience today, but there's been a lot of angst with this, obviously, with the different programs struggling, almost across the board. How much of that have you heard and kind of understand it? I would assume.
Oh, I've heard a lot of it. I felt it myself. Growing up a Auburn fan and walking on and playing here, winning means everything to me. I'm not going to do it at any cost. I'm not going to compromise our integrity to win. But I've heard it. Sometimes I hear it when I go home. So It's loud and clear. The Auburn people are passionate. That's why you have the largest crowd in the nation show up at a A-Day game. And they love this institution, and they expect better. And we're going to get better. It's been a tough year. My team is we're going to bounce back.